Welcome back to another video. Earlier today I said I was going to, or I did a Duel Links video. Um, I pretty much ran out of current IRL stuff. There's just duels to do right now. But I can't even do that. Mainly duels. But I did actually end up getting 3 of the structure deck. So here it is. Triple of the Sacred Beast structure deck. And they actually should have had a much better name for it, because Sacred Beasts structure deck just sounds boring, versus Mechanized Madness, or Soul Burner, or whatever. Sacred Beasts isn't a good name, but it's what it is. So, and this is also an Armatile build, not a Sacred, not one of the main monsters build. So, we're going to start off with our one Shimmering Scraper. Shimmering Scraper is really good card. It's just got a lot of downsides. First of all, it can't be targeted as Raviel. Second of all, that's pretty much the only downside. And it only applies to Raviel, not any of the Sacred Beasts. So that's another downside, but that's why we're only running one. I tend to see Raviel out a lot, though, when testing. But next we have 2 of each of the Sacred Beasts. We got 2 Hamon, 2 Raviel, and 2 Uriah. I'd say we're not going to go into Uriah as much as the others. Hamon is definitely the better one. Other than Raviel being a beat stick, they're just not really applying their effects. Hamon is the one you're going to see the most just because of Cerulean Skyfire. Uriah the least because you're not really going to have so many continuous traps in your grave. And then Raviel just for the having Crushing Earth or whatever it was, the OCG name. But takes 3 continuous spells, 3 fiends, and 3 continuous traps to summon. Alright, so moving on beyond the Sacred Beasts, we are going on to the main non-boss monsters. Triple Dark Beckoning Beast. This card is exactly what Sacred Beasts needed. This card and Opening of the Spirit Gates. When it's normal summoned, you can search any of your Sacred Beasts or any card that lists the Sacred Beasts in its text and add it to your hand except itself. And then you can only use this effect once per turn. During the main phase, once per turn, so you can only use each effect, you get to normal summon / set an additional Fiend monster with 0 attack or 0 defense, making it easier to go into Raviel, but I'm mainly using that for Dark Summoning Beast. But moving on, we have Triple Chaos Summoning Beast. Whenever you brick with the Sacred Beast in your hand, you contribute this to special summon them, basically. And then you can banish it from your grave to add a Fallen Paradise, which isn't of much relevance. Fallen Paradise was a continuous spell. It would be probably ran at 3, not 1. But, and then moving on, got Triple Dark Summoning Beast. When it's a level 5, so you'd have to tribute summon it out. Contribute it to summon Uriah, Hamon, or Lord of Striking, Hamon, or Raviel from your hand or deck, ignoring summoning conditions, but monsters cannot attack for the rest of the turn. Then you can banish it to do the same thing, but add it to your hand instead of special summoning it. And then for the last of the monsters, Chaos / Sacred Beast monsters, Double Chaos Core. When it would be attacked or targeted by an ability, you can send any amount of the Sacred Beast from your deck to the grave and put 1 Phantasmal counter on it. And it can't be destroyed by battle. Whenever it would be destroyed by battle, you can remove a Phantasmal counter instead. And then for the last monster, and it's just mainly for the fiend aspect, it's Triple Danger Chupacabra. Discard, and if special summon, draw a card. If it's not, oh well. And really, if anything gets sent to the grave, it's not a huge problem. Moving on to the spells. Triple Opening of the Spirit Gate. This is the same opening effect as Dark Beckoning Beast. So you can search any of the Sacred Beasts or one card that lists it in its text. And then once per turn, you can discard one card and special summon one fiend with 0 attack and defense from your graveyard. And then once per turn, if you control a level 10 monster, you can add one continuous spell from your grave to your hand. That last effect's not too useful, but it could come into play. Next, Triple Dimension Fusion Destruction. It's pretty much an overload fusion of the deck. You can fusion summon from your hand, field, or grave any phantasmal monster, but banishing them. And if you control one of the 3 Sacred Beasts, your opponent cannot activate cards or effects in response. Next, Triple Cerulean Skyfire. You can special summon Haman using its own procedure. You can also use face down spells you control. Once per turn, while you control an attack position Haman, negate any spell trap effect activated by your opponent, then change one Haman you control to defense. If any of the face up Sacred Beasts you control leaves the field, you take no damage this turn. So let's just say they do manage to kill Haman, the rest of this turn does not matter. How much they hurt you, you don't take any damage. And then the one Falling Paradise, just for that draw too, every turn. If it gets destroyed, nobody cares. Moving on to the traps. Got Triple Hyper Blaze, definitely my favorite artwork in the game, by far. It has the same first effect as Cerulean Skyfire, except it's Uriah. You use face down traps you control. And then once per battle, when an attack is declared involving Uriah, you can send one trap from your hand or deck to the grave. The attack becomes the number of face-up traps on the field and in the grave times 1,000. So instead of when Uriah is attacking you have Hyper Blaze, you can send a trap deck to the grave, and instead of Uriah being only in your graveyard, it's both in the graves and on the field. Both players' field. And that last effect you're not really going to use. There's one more effect that's like absolutely pointless. Moving on to Awakening of the Sacred Beasts. This card is crazy. I haven't actually been able to chance to play it and actually test this card yet, but it's still a good card. It's a continuous trap you can use for Uriah. If this card gains attacks equal to the number of Sacred Beasts with different names, basically, you control. So if you control 1, either Uriah, Haman, or Raviel, 2, either Uriah, Haman, or Raviel, or 3, all 3 of them. 1+, each time your opponent normal or special summons, gain life points equal to the attack of that monster. So every time they special summon, gain attack, or gain life points. Special, special, special. 2+, negate the activated effects of monsters your opponent controls. It's a skill drain for your opponent only, basically. And then 3, any monster sent to the grave or banished instead. Once per turn, if you control level 10 monster, you can add one continuous trap from your graveyard to your hand. Once again, that last effect's not going to be used too often. You don't, especially when you're not running very many trap cards and you want them to be in your grave. Hyper Blaze would be the only one you'd probably add back. I'm so sorry my camera goes blurry like that. I don't know why it does that. I really need to get a better camera. Please forgive me. I don't even notice it because it's like above my eye level with me standing. So, next, we're in Last Trap, Escape from the Dark Dimension. I have no comment for this. Pretty much any of the non-Sacred Beast monsters, or even the Sacred Beasts, if I think, or Raviel more specifically, could be summoned back with this. And never mind. It doesn't ignore summoning conditions. It's not first B. But escape from the dark dimension. Try out one of your banished dark monsters. Special summon it. When this card gets destroyed or leaves the field, banish it. When that card gets destroyed, destroy them both. Alright, moving on to the extra deck. As I said, this is an Armatile build, and this is strictly structure deck except 2 cards, which you will see. Next, triple Armatile, the Chaos Phantasm. I mean, I would only run 1, but when I only have 8 cards in my extra deck, I might as well run 3. 8 cards including these. It's a 10k beat stick. For 10,000 attack, they can't be destroyed by battle. 0 attack during your opponent's turn. If you use Dimension Fusion to summon any Phantasm monster, and you summon Armatile, you don't take any battle damage either. So you could summon Armatile, and instead of risking you having a 10,000 attack, and 0 during your opponent's turn taking a bunch of damage, just straight up 0 damage to this monster. The next, Phantasm Emperor Trilojong. I really don't fully understand this card. It's a 4,000, takes 3 level 10 monsters, so pretty much 3 of the Sacred Beasts. If this card is special summoned, or if another monster is special summoned from the graveyard to your field while you control this monster, create 1 face-up monster your opponent controls, inflict damage to your opponent equal to half the original attack. You can only use this effect once per turn. So every time you special summon back from the grave, it deals half of one of your opponent's monsters' attack to them. Original attack. That's not bad, but you're not special summoning from grave too often. Barely. And then for the last 2 extra deck monsters, absolutely no point in really having these, but number 81, Super Dreadnought Rail Cannon Super Dora, and Super Dreadnought Rail Cannon Gustav Max. They're level 10, so might as well use the rail cannons. I would definitely have Libe in here too, if I had Libe. Put an F in the chat. Rip Libe. Just a moment of silence for Libe. Okay, moment of silence up. But that's the structure deck. Or that's the triple structure deck plus the rail cannons. And also go over the final 6 cards, technically 2 because I have 3 copies of each. The tokens. Excuse me. Come on, why are you having focusing problems? I'm sorry, my camera is being so stupid. But yeah, tokens. I did have the card that did bring out this in here, but then I realized I only ran 1 copy, and then I realized I was using 41, not 40, and it's like, oh, I miscounted. I'm gonna take it out. But you can still use those for other tokens if need be. But, yep, that's it for this video. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you guys later. Peace out.